Welcome back to Return to Heart. In today's episode, we explore a surprising truth about parenting. The healthiest families aren't perfect. They're full-hearted. Let's get started.
John 15:1. I am the vine, Jesus speaking. He says, I am the vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, and every branch that bears fruit, he prunes it, that it might bear more fruit. If you have ever been to a vineyard in the off season after they have pruned those plants, they look like a bunch of dead sticks in the middle of a field. And yet someone that knows something about fruit knows that unless those things get cut back, there will be no fruit the following season. And pruning is painful. There's a statement that's often thrown around in 12-step rooms about what did it take to get that person into that room of recovery of heart? Mm-hmm. What did it take to get that person having to face life on life's terms and ask for help? Mm-hmm. What did it take in that person's life to finally look up and say, this isn't living and I'm made for more? And here's the phrase. They say, it took what it took.
Yeah.
And sometimes that cutting is because, you know what, stuff needs to be cut. But sometimes that cutting happens so that we'll be more fruitful. Now, where I want us to go today, and this is very personal to me, because when I look back to when I really began my journey returning to heart, okay, it was painful. And there was a season of looking at my life objectively that I looked like just a stick in the middle of a field, and I felt like everything had been cut off. And it looked barren, and it was painful, and I wondered I thought my life was over. And yet, in that it took what it took, it also started a journey of returning to heart that really began to change everything for me. And I want to say this, it changed my marriage, it changed my vocation, it changed the way I work. But there's one area that I have said for the last 20 years that I'm the most grateful for. And I would do all of it again. And when I say all of it, I mean all the pain of the pruning, is how it has affected my relationship with my kids.
Yes.
And the different dad that they have gotten in my recovery of heart that they weren't getting in all my trying to do the best I could do. And I really want to talk today a little bit about what that's like as a parent. Every time we talk about this stuff, Phil, you know this happens when we go anywhere and speak on this kind of stuff. Everyone immediately wants to talk about their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have so much invested in what we're doing to them, what we're not doing to them, what we're giving them, what we're not giving to them. And I just know the biggest payoff, the most gratitude I have, and it's not been perfect, but I am saying the biggest gratitude I have is around this journey and the pain of this journey and the pain of that pruning, and that it took what it took and it's still taking what it takes, has been how it has affected my relationship with my kids.
Yes, indeed. No, Jeff, no question about it. Number one question, your tears tell the story of how deep this goes in anyone with children. And there are lots of people who don't have children that desperately desire them. Mm-hmm. There's something in us that moves to that.
Yeah.
Even the parental language, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum or ad infinitum maybe. The parental language in Scripture that we use, God says, I would no more leave you than a nursing mother would leave a baby. Ephraim, I taught you how to walk when you were a toddler. And, connection, and I will not leave you as orphans, and a work of the Holy Spirit in a very parental way. I'll be your advocate. I'll show you what to do. I'll convict you of wrong. I'll walk alongside you. It's parenting. It's all through the Word.
I remember some of my first moments of recognition around some of this, even when I was starting to wake up internally. And they probably sound silly, but they weren't silly to me. I remember actually, to set it up, if you've ever taken a video of any of your kids doing stuff, my kids were all in athletics and dance or whatever. I remember always being conflicted between, like, they want me to record this, but if I'm recording this, I can't really be present. Mm-hmm. Like I'm kind of have to look through a screen, or I'm trying to still look and I'm holding the camera down here or whatever it is. You know, it's hard to be present and still film it. In fact, I remember my son Jay, senior year in college, he was a college swimmer, and I'd recorded all his swims for him because he liked to look at it and analyze his stroke and look at his races. And he came to me before his last race, his senior year in the Ivy League championships, and he said, "Dad, my gift to you in this last race for me is that my roommate's going to film my race so that you can be in the water with me emotionally."
Oh, wow, okay? Yeah.
Because it's just hard to, like, be on this side of the camera and still be in the moment.
That's right.
Okay, so in all my unwoundness, my performance, my trying harder, my wanting to do the right thing, me trying to be a good dad, me knowing what the right thing to do was, I would describe my parenting as being behind a camera, watching myself try to be a good dad. Mm. So I was there and I was around, but there was something in me that was not present, and it was as subtle as being there at the event, but having to film it.
Yeah.
And here's the moment I remember. I remember laying on the floor with my then, how old was David? This would have been 3. I remember laying on the floor with my son, rolling a ball. He's my youngest. I was laying on the floor, rolling a ball back and forth with him. Back and forth. He was so athletic and coordinated, and it was fun watching him. We didn't have to teach him anything. God gave his body stuff he knew how to do. He liked to play anything with balls, and we're laying there rolling these balls back and forth. And I remember all of a sudden it hit me, and I went, I'm not watching myself.
Well, there's a change, huh?
Like, I had a sense of, I'm just on the floor with my son, rolling a ball and enjoying him. And it was like I was conscious of it. And I was conscious of it because I was so unconscious of how unpresent I had been. Before. It would have been, this is what a good dad does. Mm-hmm. I need to get on the floor and throw a ball with my son. This is what I've seen done. This is what a video would say I needed to do. This is what the book I read said I needed to do. This is what I've seen a mentor do. Like, whatever it was, like, I was trying to mimic all these things I was seeing. I was mimicking it, which isn't a bad thing when you don't know what you're doing. But it wasn't intuitive to me, where my chest wasn't in it, and it just wasn't being there. And it was so real. I just went, I'm not watching myself. And then I had a moment after that later where I really grieved, because he was my youngest. I had 6 kids all the way up to the age of 14. And then I realized how much of their life I was at that I was not at.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. You know this, Phil, the way the brain works. You feel what you remember, and you remember what you feel. That's
right.
And then also realized that I didn't have a lot of memories of a lot of those times, because I wasn't feeling it, because I wasn't there. I was doing it, but I wasn't in it emotionally. Mm-hmm. And I was waking up to something. So then I had a lot of grieving to do. Like, how much of my kids' lives that I missed? But I still had a 14-year-old down to a 3-year-old, and I was coming back to my life, and I think God was going to restore some things. And you think he's been doing that for 20 years.
I believe that.
So what would you say to the parent? We get this happen all the time. We do work with people. The first question they're going, well, how can I not do this to my kids? Or how can I be this to my kids? Or how can I help my kids be full of heart? And how can I not, how can I not raise my kids in a home that's emotionally vacant? How you respond to that?
There are so many answers to that question, Jeff. And, first of all, some of you are listening to the podcast, just your tears around this
overwhelming. Yeah.
is overwhelming. I have to say this. I had the privilege of knowing your children as they've grown up, not every day, not even every month or every year even, but knowing your family, knowing you. And I won't say specifics really for their confidentiality, but the way in the throes of your darkest days, that you and I were in together, the way they described you, the hurtful, painful part of it was not any form of rage or that kind of thing toward you. It was how much they loved you and could not get to you.
Yes.
They could not have you. Oh. And that was the painful part. Like I'd rather them have, besmirched you and run you down and those kinds of things. Like that would have been easier to tolerate to hear than their tender, like their tears over 20 years ago. And your tears today is like, thank the Lord, in a redemptive way, y'all passed each other going opposite directions for healing. Their tears then, your tears now, they meet in the middle of this life with Christ and in our parenting. So that question you asked, even from that context, Jeff, you and your 6, the answers are so variegated in regard to story. For instance, the home I grew up in, I spent a great deal of time overperforming, overfunctioning, making sure everything was clean and everything was great and everything was smooth and everything, and no one had heard about anything because that was my job. I'm a hero child.
Yeah.
And so in my parenting, for me, for instance, how do I not do this to my kid? Well, Phil, you show up. We have one son, as you know. Phil, you show up with that then boy, and whatever you need to bring to him, you bring it. But I look back on my parenting, and the one thing I regret the most is, this sounds so crazy to say, I wasn't in my life enough to know that he needed more direction than I gave him. He was compliant. He was quiet. He's a great athlete, and all those things like, oh, he's great. And I look back and go, man, he experienced so much abandonment from me. It didn't look violent. It wasn't exciting or dramatic, but I didn't show up with him because things were running smoothly. And for a hero child, like, oh, great, things must be fine. I didn't push into his life. I didn't ask him the hard questions I needed to ask him because it seemed like things were great. Other people come from places that are very traumatic, and they've practiced dissociation. They become lost children, so they dissociate. And so some dads or moms on the floor rolling balls with their children, their sons or daughters, and they're so dissociated, they're not in their own skin to be there. And others are so, use a phrase here, hell-bent. Some are so hell-bent on compensating for what they didn't get. Mm-hmm. They overfunction. And when the child is sick of rolling the ball, the parent's like, oh no, you got to keep rolling this ball because my life depends on it. Right? I'm going to be a good dad. And I'm going to make sure
you're going to make sure you prove it to me.
So that question is a huge question because the simple answer to that is, I just gave 3 examples.
Yeah.
And so the answer is know your own story as a child, as a precursor to knowing how to parent your own.
Say that exactly again.
Yeah. Know your own story.
Yes.
So you can parent your children in that way. I didn't say exactly the same.
In that order.
Yes. Yes.
So it means we start with us.
Yes.
We don't start with them.
I had I think I've told this before, but if you've heard this before, please look really interested. Like that. Make me okay, Jeff. I had this venerable old professor in seminary, in graduate school, and long story way shorter, he had told us before the semester began that he may be leaving at some point in the semester because he's old. He'd been on the faculty 60 years, so he was well into his 80s, and so sure enough, he came to class one day and he said, "Hey, my house sold, and I told the president we're finished." He said, I told the president we're not finishing, but we're quitting as he moved home. So the last day of class, he said, hey, obviously there's no final. Let's just do Q&A. His name was Dr. Leon Marsh, brilliant, godly man. So we used to describe him like, you know what? I bet God looks like Dr. Marsh. He had skin and like an oak tree trunk and this white hair. Yeah. And so we're asking him questions. And finally, one of my classmates said, well, Dr. Marsh, what do you want us to know? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a great question. Without hesitation, Dr. Marsh said, you be sure that you take care of your own vineyard first. Now, that immediate context was don't get so involved in ministry you leave your own identity and don't take care of your family.
Oh, but I see the application
The
here.
further extension is if I'm parenting my son and people are parenting our sons and daughters and I'm mom or I'm dad, if I'm not taking care of this internal vineyard, that child is going to be raised by someone who has to use that child to be okay. And that's so often the trap we fall into. We don't mean to. I fell into it. We don't mean to do that, but we will end up making sure of something, making sure they don't live like I lived, which in and of itself is not bad, making sure I'm okay, or making sure I don't make them mad, because I grew up in a house to where if I say or do the wrong thing or push too hard, mom gets mad. That's my story. I don't want to make him mad. I don't want to push him away. I don't want to be demanding to him like one of my parents in particular was demanding of me. And I also don't want to neglect him like my other parent did with me. So I'm going to be sure. And so for me, that looked like I'm never missing a baseball game, and I'm never going to push into anything really hard because I don't want to alienate him and push him away. And what ended up happening was he experienced a dad that's a really nice guy, was a pastor and a therapist, and it's great stuff. But we really didn't have those hard conversations. Therefore, he tells me later, he didn't use these words, but I didn't get to build any resilience because I didn't have to get through the friction of me and you or any other thing in life. You took care of me.
Man, I have this visual image in my mind of it's almost like I'm a cup. And if I'm not diligent about whatever it takes to be filling my cup with what I need to be full of heart, I'll take my empty cup to my children.
Yeah.
And instead of having something to pour out on them, or not even that, it'll just spill out, because that's most of how it happens as a parent. We, as intentional as we want to be, then we're pouring all this into them. Most of the time, they're getting what spills out of us, okay? Yeah. But in this case, if I have something in the cup that'll spill out on them, they're getting something. But if I go to them with an empty cup, this isn't even conscious, but I will use my children to fill my cup.
That's exactly right.
And they might not be able to say it, but something in them knows that something's being taken from them and that it's not even about them.
That's exactly right. And that comes in so many forms, Jeff. Man, I hope folks listening to this heard that analogy. Think of that empty cup.
Yeah.
I got nothing in it, so you, child, better fill it. And people will often say, I have an anger problem with my children. I yell at my children. I scream at my children. And you and I know, and listeners know, that that's a rage issue. That's not an anger thing. That's a rage thing. And so when we're raging at our children, very often we're living in the terror that child's not filling that cup, like you said. And so it terrifies me because I've got to have you fill my cup so I can be okay. And so when that doesn't happen, I lash out, I yell, I scream at my kids to try to get them to fill that whatever I'm needing them to fill it with. That's, you go to any sporting event, and when you see that parent losing their mind over performance or something else, you can know that's what's happening here. This is a terrified adult who is desperately needing that child to fill that cup with something that they didn't get.
So this goes back to your oak tree skinned, white-haired professor who said to not leave your own vineyard. When it comes to parenting, and by the way, I'm only repeating what I was over and over encouraged to do in my own journey of all this. What was this? You go keep getting your own heart back, and that parenting thing will. This sounds too simplistic, but that'll start to take care of itself. Like, your job is not to go out now and try to be this parent that tries to raise full-hearted children. Your job is to be a full-hearted man that can bring himself to his wife and that can bring himself to his children.
Okay, so now it's my turn.
Okay,
say that again. That's a big deal.
I don't know if I can. Okay, your job is to not go raise full-hearted children.
Yeah.
Your job is to do whatever it takes to avail yourself in any kind of environment that'll help you to become a full-hearted man or woman.
Yes.
Full-hearted spouse.
Yes.
How did I say that?
You said it beautifully. I happen to remember it.
Okay, you
and
say
I'm making
it.
a practice to forget anything you say, but I
say it.
No.
Stuff comes out of me sometimes, and I go, that happens to me all the time, by the way. Someone will come out of me and go, I don't know what I just said, but I kind of liked it, but I can't say it again.
I'm serious when I say this. I really hope people are writing that down, and this is an aside, but tonight when we're done, Sheila and I are going to dinner with our son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter, and I'm going to tell them this, that you had this conversation.
You remember it better than I do.
So our job as husbands, wives, moms, dads, is to be full-hearted, have a full-hearted life, to be a full-hearted husband or wife, and a full-hearted parent, so those children don't have to compensate for where my heart is missing. Yeah. You said it even better, but that's what I hope will be a takeaway. Actually, over this entire podcast, I know we're going to do some more around this.
Yeah, we're going to I want to do a lot on parenting.
Yeah,
but we just decided today. Let's just again all these podcasts we do. What I love about them is, and I just tell the truth. We don't plan these. Like we just say, hey, let's talk about this, and we just start rolling. But on this one, it was just kind of like, let's talk about parenting. Yeah. Okay. And I think the idea would be, I think we want to do a lot more around this. But I think today, just to kind of stumble into this whole thing, to go, we always think I need to start helping them, but really on this one especially, man, that's putting the cart before the horse. And this is 100%. I have to keep working on me. And I don't mean I work on me. I mean, like I have to keep putting myself in places. Yeah. And this is what this whole podcast has been about. We talk about this, all the different ways that we can bring resources around us to help us to return to heart. But that's a life work. I use this phrase all the time for any guy I work with and any groups I have with guys. I say, look, this is not a life sentence, but it is a life work. Yeah. I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life, peeling my own onion so I can keep showing up to my life so that I'm doing something with my wife, Brenda, and I have something my kids can come get because I'm still growing. I'm still growing. Brenda said to me, I can share this. She said to me, last Saturday was my 64th birthday, and they had most of my kids were there, all but one. I was missing a son-in-law and a son and a daughter-in-law, but the rest were all there. It's a big room of kids and 8 grandkids. And in front of all my grandkids and my kids, Brenda stood up and she read a card to me. And she said something that almost feels too holy to say out loud. She said, and we've been married 39 years. I've known her 40-some years. But she said, Jeff, she said, I see you becoming the man that I know you've always wanted to be. Wow. And then she said this, especially this last year. And I won't go into the context of this last year. But on a lot of levels, vocationally, emotionally, personally, health-wise, it's been a really painful year. Pruning those dead stalks. In the field. And in front of my family, Brenda said to me, and I'm telling you, I've had to do all this work around those things happening, to take life on life's terms, to have places to talk about it, to be able to emotionally connect with it, to not have to just bury it, to not medicate it and run, but to engage it in as healthy a way as I can, sometimes really well, sometimes not, but to literally learn how to do, I have to do everything we're teaching people how to do, which, by the way, imperfectly, but good golly, I believe in this. It saved my life, and it's saving a lot about my life. But she said that, and I looked and I went, the statement I want to grab around that is not what she said to me. It was unbelievably affirming, and she said it in front of everybody. But she said, especially this last year, she didn't say 20 years ago when I hit a wall and started this journey. She said this last year. Yeah. And that's what it just hit me. I thought, man, this is just a lifelong thing. And the growth she's seeing is the application of everything we're talking about how to return to heart, stay full of heart, keep bringing myself to my life, keep showing up emotionally. And then I had a couple other kids chimed in and said, and one of them said in particular, I won't quote her because I'll keep that kind of quiet, but she literally said to me, Dad, I've watched you this year.
Mm-hmm.
And what she's watched is me bear well, not perfectly, but bear with it, like be resilient, all the stuff we talked about in the past podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was going, good night. And I can tell you this, I didn't plan this. It's probably my best parenting, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my best parenting. And I didn't parent anybody. My kids are grown.
Yeah.
But the parenting is them watching me just fumble through life awkwardly and openly. And I go, it's my best parenting.
That's exactly right.
And I'm not trying to be a great parent.
Mm-mm. Which is the core of the great parenting.
Say, that's a great statement.
Right.
The core of great parenting is not trying to go be a great parent.
That's right.
That sounds like bass backwards. But what do you mean by that? Because I believe it, and I agree with you.
Two of the most powerful words in the English language are be yourself.
Huh?
Well, just be. Don't not like the new age. Do whatever you want. Be yourself means you live according to how God made you.
Huh.
And you're made to lead. You're made to inspire. You're inspirational. There's a reason you go first in all these podcasts because we want people to stay listening.
I try to get Phil to go first. I try to
Not
Phil
happening.
says, go, Schulte, just go. Yeah.
That's just your gift.
Yeah.
You have a gift for that.
Yeah.
And then brokenness and serving, and you said the word resilience. And so it's usually used in pedagogical territory, like teaching territories, says, more things are caught than taught.
Yeah.
Well, that's really true. AA says it's a program of attraction, not promotion. Mm-hmm. So it has all kinds of different ways of saying it. But what you're describing is you're living in a certain way. And you are living not perfectly, but you're living in neediness and truth-telling and admission, attunement and alignment, all things which you're living in a certain way. And you are consistently living in the way you're made, and your children are catching it.
They're catching it. And
that's where, if people don't take anything away from, and we're going to do a string of these, but if they don't take anything else away, if you combine Leon Marsh and Jeff Schulte, two very different people together, like what you're describing is your children, grown as they are looking at you and they're saying, Dad, you're taking care of your own vineyard. And somehow when your vineyard's in really good shape, we get to eat all the fruit. Your dad.
We get to eat all the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to sum it up and say, the best parenting move is just go get your own heart back and stay at it and just stay focused there. And your cup fills, your cup overflows. What spills out of it's what's in it. And to take the metaphor back to the vineyard, there's fruit on the vines. That'll be painful.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if there wasn't pain, we probably wouldn't do anything.
Exactly right.
Which goes back to it took what it took, or it takes what it takes. And pruning's painful.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure that branch does not like being cut. But anyway, I go back. I go, that's what it is. It's stay about you. And I go back even to our relationship 20 years plus. That's what you kept telling me.
Mm-hmm.
You just go keep getting you. Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
I was shot out of a cannon out of a treatment center where you were the clinical director. And I had these 6 kids waiting for me. Mm-hmm. And when I say they were all different places, I had one of them. He says this publicly, so I can say it. I had one of them. I had a teenage son that was conflicted by how much he missed me when I was gone and how relieved he was when I left.
Yes, he was. Both.
And the relief wasn't that I was gone. It was that the energy and the me. Oh my God! It was suffocating him. Mm-hmm. And the thought, this is where my tears come from too, the thought that I would have continued to replicate that in the name of all my effort to be every bit the dad that I wanted to be that I never had.
Yeah.
I was just pounding my children. And on the outside, I'm going to tell you, on the outside, nobody would have seen this. And it looked great. I coached all their teams. I was showing up for stuff. I played with them. I read books to them. I was so engaged. And it looked okay. But all this stuff is unseen. And it's like we're giving our kids silverware and plates, but we're not giving them any food.
Yeah, right.
Okay? And the food is emotional.
Yes.
And all I had to give them was silverware and plates and tables and chairs. And I just kept giving it to them. And it wasn't until I started getting my own heart back that now there's some food on the plate, or some fruit hanging on the vine, or some water in the cup. We're using a lot of metaphors here, but I think it sticks to go, oh, so that's what it looks like. And then I'm going to say it's not hard. Parenting is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Goodness, yes.
But it's as hard as me being me.
Right.
And then I'll say one more thing about this. This is because you kind of related to it with you and your son. Because I grew up without a dad, and then therefore that was normal to me and so minimized my need of having one, I totally underestimated what they might need from me.
Yeah. So I want to take a couple things you just said to end with, to segue into a lot more conversations about this. It just hit me, what you just said about you and your son, about, probably doesn't need one. And I thought, Jeff, in kind of the great exchange, I know that's used as a different thing, but here's where I think we could land today. If you take your metaphor of like, man, you gave your kids amazing china and crystal, Tiffany. I mean, you even knew what fork to use when, all that fancy stuff. No food on it. There's table setting, and you change that for kind of like wooden plates that are all nasty looking and old kind of metal cups and plastic things. And your kids are like, oh, this tastes so good. This is so much better than looking at plates. So that I love that picture that to end with, like, if you want to talk about parenting, we will settle for skill and the rituals and the things that we learn in parenting books, and none of that is bad. That's not to cast aspersion on that. But when it comes down to it, our kids walk to the table and they walk away hungry, and the best it gets is the china looks great.
Yeah.
Dad's coming to the games, or mom's doing this or that. And what we don't understand is, or maybe we do, we need to understand more, is as we go take care of that vineyard, we're putting, the plates look terrible, but man, the food's amazing. That's what we're after.
I'm going to say this before we actually do close. And I do feel some healthy shame to say this, because it's why we did it. But there's going to be men and women who just spent this time with us, who are going to be saying, I need a baby step.
Yeah.
You keep talking about return to heart. You keep talking about getting my heart back. You keep talking about starting to show up emotionally to my life. That's why we wrote Emotions Unveiled.
Yes.
It is a baby step onto the path of that journey.
Yes.
It's on Amazon. I'm not trying to sell stuff. By the way, I put more money into creating that than we will. I'm not trying to get it. We make $1 from Amazon. That's not what this is about. You and I did this as a passion project to help give people a place to take baby steps down this path, whether it's about parenting or anything else. But we're talking about parenting today. But I just would say, just go do that and start it. Just order it. Take a little step. It's $20, I think, probably something like that. Order it. Emotions Unveiled. Phil Hearn and Jeff Schulte on there. And just start wading into that. I didn't even plan to say all this, but it just hit me. I thought, no, we need to give them an action to go. They would be little steps forward to go, I need to begin prodding, peeling, pulling threads, peeling an onion, maybe doing it with someone if you want, if that's a safe relationship. But at least you could do it private, like a journal experience the first time through, just to go, let me start waking up to the feelings I have about where I came from and where I am today.
Yeah.
That'd be a great action item. But let me just say, too, today we're talking about parenting. We are really interested in wanting to address the kind of issues and answer the kind of questions you've got, which means we want you to drop stuff in the comments so that we can actually hear. And we may have one podcast where we just answer questions.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would be a lot of fun. In fact, we think it'd be one of the most fun we've had. So give us some feedback on what you like about what we're doing, what maybe you don't like about what Phil's doing.
Whoa. Hey.
Not me.
That term.
No, but just to where you can get some comments to help us, because we want to step into some of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. So we really want some feedback, and we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks again for joining us on Return to Heart. To access resources mentioned on this program or to find out more about Tin Man Ministries, please go to tinman.org.